Hi there, great blessings. So this will be a video on spiritual boosters, meaning talking about a couple of things that can really catalyze and speed up and facilitate your spiritual development by changing a couple of your habits. And I will be talking from my own experience because I don't know about others, and there are many books and recommendations out there. But I would like to share with you what worked out for me. Um, I'm a practicing medium, I'm an intuitive healer or advisor. So I rely a lot on the clear senses like clear audience, clear sight, clear sentience, which is the feeling beyond the average human feeling or the spectrum of what a human can sense on an average level. So in the past, let's say in the past, especially in the past 2 years, I've been given a lot more guidance from my source or from my spiritual team or guiding spirits on what to change and how to change. But there was always one common instruction in each and every phase, which was to focus on one change at a time. So it wasn't like, please give up eating heavy meat meals, or and parallelly with that, please stop drinking coffee, and parallelly with that, please, don't consume white sugar, and so on and so on. But it was just one thing at a time, and even that was done gradually, so it was relatively easy to keep it up and achieve the goal. So I remember, well, as as an information, I was born and raised in Central Europe, in a country where the tradition is to eat meat with meat. Children were raised from a very young age on a lot of pork and beef and combinations, and meat with pasta and meat with potato. So lots of heavy meals actually. And even though naturally my body was never too open to receive and taking these, I was a misfit in many ways in my original culture, but still it was my habit to eat certain things that are not so beneficial if you want to work in the spiritual field. And I'm not a vegan, I'm not a vegetarian. I don't believe that domestic animals shouldn't end their lives to become a meal. I don't have any of those beliefs, but simply it was coming from experience and feeling what is good and what is not so good in the spiritual profession. Eventually, I drastically lowered the amount of meat that I'm eating. Um, I still eat everything. Like, to me, what works out is to eat everything in moderation, but I definitely gave up any and all heavy meats. Then after that, I gave up drinking caffeine or anything that would even Coke, that would contain some caffeine, or even certain teas that contain something very similar to caffeine. So that was the next bit, and that was quite difficult to perform because, again, coming from my culture, by my adolescence, I was basically a coffee addict like all the others around me. So that was a little bit of a more heavier ride. And then the next thing was to eat a lot more vegetables, eventually on a daily basis, and just as they come, like well, raw vegetables. I like to add some oil, some olive oil, and some salt, or the likes. But these are basically raw vegetable. And then most recently, I was giving this guidance. Now I'm a practicing medium and spiritual advisor, and the next step that I'm working on to, and this is like, this is a sweet and soft spot, literally, to give up chocolate. And well, life is like this, but it's nothing forced, it is not forced on me, it is eventually my choice to work on it. And I like to summarize the spiritual path, or those people who are consciously walking in the spiritual path. It is nothing mystified or nothing out there. It just means that you are consciously working on purifying and perfectioning your intentions and getting more and more in alignment with your true self, with your true calling, with the word peace, because I believe we create the word peace. There is word peace as long as we do work on it and we create it, and to be your inner joy, to be the unique joy that only you can be. And I'm finding more and more that the more I'm focusing on my spiritual path, the more I want to focus on what I'm taking in. I was never drinking, I was never smoking, so I can't really relate to those, but I can definitely relate to eating all sorts of sweets, basically everything that was available. I can relate to, planning my days around coffee breaks and the amount of coffee that I was taking in. It was something very European, and here we go. Times change and it can be done, but I was always doing just one thing at a time, and even that was gradual, and it was also less stressful for my body like that way to give up all these things. And I do feel that in my spiritual work, or in my spiritual profession, I'm becoming more and more fine-tuned, and things take a lot less time to manifest and come through than before. So I wish you to find your way, and eat with balance and eat with joy. Like, I remember someone told me that, once you lose the joy from eating, once you lose the joy from your meals, they just won't nurture you the same. They just won't nurture you in any else way. So, above everything, enjoy your meals, and I think healthy eating and a healthy diet can also be enjoyable. And I find that actually these days there are more and more sweets, natural healthy sweets that can be found just basically one shelf, past the chocolates and the regular biscuits. And I think the world is adjusting to and catching up with the spiritual trends gradually and one thing at a time. And if you would like to get in touch with me, you can find my contact details below. And I wish great blessings to you, and see you next time.